Good morning, Big Springs Fair Judges of 2020. I am really excited to be able to do this video for you. It might be a little bit easier than having to look through mail and all that kind of stuff, so I'm going to make this as quick as possible. So when you show up that day to the Cultural Center, you have your address and everything here. I'll be sending this letter with some other things out in an email this week. So students will be getting there probably around 6:30 to set their projects up and everything. Judging does not start until 8:30. You are welcome to show up around 7:30. We will have breakfast items there for you with coffee and juice and other things like that. Water. We'll have all that back there for you, as well as snacks and things like that. So there are driving directions down here at the bottom of this letter if you have not been there before. And at this point, I'm going to move on to everything else. So the next thing that we are going to look at is going to be our judging tips. Okay, so some things. Please make sure when you're judging, please be discreet when discussing winners or making critical comments. Students are going to ask you questions, but please do not share any project scores. And students always like to overhear things, so please keep everything, all the results that come in are going to be confidential until everything's announced at the award ceremony. So you will have a cover sheet with this on it. So just please make sure to be aware of your surroundings and who may be listening. So judges should make sure and keep in mind this is not only a competition, but it's an educational and motivating experience for students. So they love to be interviewed. Please remember last year, if you were not here, or even if you were, you will be given a timer. Students only have 3 minutes to present their project. And the reason we did that is because some of them can get a little long-winded. As much as we love to hear everything, you still have other projects to judge just besides that one. So we wanted to give them a time limit so that you can make sure you get to everyone. So please, it is requested that you always use encouraging tone when you're asking questions, offering suggestions. Please feel free to offer constructive criticism, but make sure it is in a, positive light, that kind of thing, because these students are really excited to be here. Students may have worked on some of these research for a year. However, the purpose of judging is only the research that they have recently done. You don't need to be concerned or judge information from the year before. So it all needs to be from the current year that is going to be evaluated. So examine the quality of student work. How well do they understand their project, the physical display, those types of things. Give considerable thought to the scientific method. We always like to, stick with that, identifying variables and controls, repeated trials, etc. Look for the evidence of lab or field work. It is not just a research-based or gadgeteering. Now, the engineering works a little bit different if you're in that category, so please be aware of that. That's not, that one does look a little bit different when they're engineering, such as a drone like we had last year. Please only compare projects with those competing in the STEM fair and not with things that you've seen in other competitions. Please remember this is completely different, so please keep that in mind. Another thing, please make sure that you are not asking students what county they're from, what their name is. Please keep all of that anonymous. I know you will recognize students from the year before and things like that, but when you bring up information such as that, it can kind of cause a bias in some cases. So remember on this day, their project number, things like that. So just make sure you try to keep those bias out of there. So some of the criteria that we're going to be looking at is what happens is there's a total of 40 points on your card, and we'll get to that shortly. And this evaluation criteria, I just wanted you to see it. It will be on the back of your judging tips card, and it will be emailed to you, so you can read through that. We are looking for creative ability and originality because we want them to be able to solve a world problem with this. Their scientific thought, the thoroughness, the skill, and clarity of everything that has been done. So I wanted to make sure you saw that. And like I said, this will be emailed to you for closer evaluation by you. So what's going to happen is you're going to show up to the fair that day, and this is a sample judging form that you will have. So what happens here is the criteria that we just discussed with creative ability, thought, thoroughness, etc. All of this goes here. This is the project number, and juniors will be on yellow cards all through the exhibit hall and on their card, and then seniors are in white. We also added the J for junior. That's all that means. And then they will have a number. Now, I do understand. I want to look at this entire card and make sure that everybody is on the same page. This does go through Project 24 in that category, but please know you may not have 24 projects to judge. Here's a little just reference for you at the bottom, and then you'll name and signature before you give it back to the desk. Now, one thing that's going to happen, I'm going to show you the map. I don't want to get things too confused or move too fast. So this is a layout, and please know this is not this year's layout. This is the layout from last year. When you come into the front lobby, you're going to go to the right for judges registration. That table will give you a timer, something to write with, and then they'll give you your scorecard that we just looked at. Now, what's going to happen when you get that scorecard is, okay, so the other one has the 100s in it, but if you look here in animals, you only have 101 through 104. And then around here, okay, this is still animal. So animal only went to 10 projects last year. Okay, so the first number here, like 1, that's the category. So 1 is animals, and then 10 is the number of projects. So when you look at the map, please know that the map is the one place that has the absolute last thing on it. You will be given a map when you get your scorecard. So if you were looking at the animal category from last year, when you get your scorecard, you're only going to go to 10. Okay, you will not have through 24. This just makes it easier for us to print out. We do not get the information about how many projects we have until about a week before the fair, so we cannot adjust these scorecards accordingly and still have time. So just thank you for understanding that, but please know you will not always have 24 in every category to do. So that is it if you are only doing category judging in the morning. Now you can actually turn the video off here if you're not doing finalist judging. If you are doing finalist judging, which I will be making you aware of that as soon as I get everything finished with my judge sheet. So in the afternoon, what happens is during lunch, which is why lunch takes so long. Okay, that's why we have an hour and 45 minutes for lunches, because we are trying to get all the scores completed so we know the afternoon. So what happens is students about 1:15, they will get assigned a number. And it'll be on a card that looks like this. So what's going to happen is if you're a finalist judge, you're going to go into a room and it's going to be a panel judge. Okay, there's going to be a max of 20 students, and after trying this last year, it worked really well, but we do have to cut the time back for transitions and for a break because the judges they desperately needed a break. So students are going to have 3 minutes. There will be a timer person, like a coordinator in there. They will get a 1-minute warning. There will only be 5 minutes for questions from judges. Students only have 3 minutes to present. So we have to stay on this time clock in order to make sure we get out of the Cultural Center on time and get everything broken down. So just an idea. So this is what that will look like to make sure that we get through all 20 and to make sure they get a score. Now, I will say if you need to ask somebody back later that afternoon after we're done, we can do that. So please remember, though, when you're in there, no asking questions of what county they're from. You don't need to know their name. You're strictly asking questions about their project that's going to help you with scoring. Okay, so there's not really time for discussion. It's asking questions, getting your thoughts down. And what's going to happen is you'll be given a scorecard that looks like this. So depending on if you're doing juniors or seniors, juniors have 5 minutes for questions, seniors only have 4, and the reason for that is because seniors took a little longer last year because they are so in-depth. So please, when you ask a question, make sure it's exactly what you're looking for. So you'll get a project number here that you'll write in. Here's your finalist sheet. And like I said, you'll have a coordinator in there, so you'll print, sign, and then we will take those scorecards once all that is finished. Once you're finished judging that So, all right, I do believe that is everything that you need to know, and I think we've done pretty good keeping this video short and sweet and where it needs to be. So I greatly appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you at the fair. And one other thing I do want to make sure that I mention is there will be lunches. It is going to be the Jersey Mike's lunch boxes again, or box lunches that comes with a sandwich, chips. We've got drinks, all kinds of snacks, that kind of thing. So if you want to stay for lunch, or feel free to leave for lunch, because I know it is fast, but you'll get a lunch ticket from the front at the judging table. And we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.